Do you know why, when Jesus was hanging on the cross and said, "I am thirsty," someone brought vinegar to his lips on a branch of hyssop? Even today, many people still think this was nothing more than one more act of humiliation before Jesus died. But what Scripture truly wants people to see is not the vinegar itself, but the hyssop. Because through this deeply hidden yet astonishing detail, God was telling the world something profound. The Jesus hanging on the cross was the true Passover lamb. When many people read John chapter 19, they only notice that someone offered Jesus vinegar to drink. But they fail to see that the most important part was never the vinegar itself, but the sign of the hyssop. Because back in the Exodus, the Israelites used hyssop to dip into the blood of the lamb and spread it on the doorframes and the lintels. When the judgment of destruction came upon all the land of Egypt, every house marked by the blood was passed over. So in the end, the blood became the sign of salvation, and the lamb became the sacrifice that stood in the place of death. And now that same sign appears once again beneath the cross. Only this time, the hyssop is no longer used to apply blood to people's doors, but to bring vinegar to the lips of Jesus. Because the one hanging on the wood is no longer the shadow or symbol of the Old Testament, but the true Lamb who came to bear the sins of the world. And in this moment, the real meaning of Passover was fully revealed. Even more astonishing is that none of this happened by accident. The Psalms had already written it long before. They gave me vinegar for my thirst. So every detail that happened on the cross was not chaos, not coincidence, and not out of control. It was God's plan of salvation, moving step by step toward completion. After Jesus tasted the vinegar, he said, "It is finished." That was not the final sigh of a defeated man, but the declaration that salvation had been accomplished. He was not forced onto the cross by men. He willingly went there himself to complete the way of salvation for humanity. From that moment on, the Lamb was truly offered. The price of sin was truly paid, and the door to salvation was truly open. So the most overwhelming thing about the cross was never only how much suffering Jesus endured, but that even the smallest details had already been written into God's salvation. If today you also see the weight of the cross in a new way, write "It is finished" in the comments. And share this message so more people will know Jesus did not merely die, he fully accomplished salvation.